Here we've got a Honda FG100 mini tiller. I bought this about a year ago for $100 from a neighbor who was moving away. After a few weeks it stopped working and had no spark, so I replaced the spark plug and magneto, and then it ran okay for a while, but it never did run right. It doesn't idle, and now it's getting hard to start and it seems to lose power after running a while. So let's give it a try here. It's got one of these diaphragm type carburetors that you usually see on two-stroke stuff, even though it's four-stroke. Let's just prime it. You have to hold the throttle open to start it. So it does run, but as soon as you let up on the throttle, it stalls out, even though the idle screw is set as high as it'll go. Also, it seems to have a fuel leak. You can see it's dripping out of the air cleaner here. Like I said, it's got a new magneto and spark plugs. It seems it's got to be a carburetor problem. So you can get an official Honda OEM replacement carburetor for $65, almost as much as I paid for the whole tiller. Or you can get a Chinese knockoff carburetor plus a car rebuild kit, a spark plug, a fuel filter, and a couple of hoses, all for $16 free shipping. So I went with that. Maybe I'll try rebuilding the carb after I replace it. I've never worked with this type of carburetor before. It's easy enough to remove the carburetor. Just take off these two nuts. I'll try not to tear the gasket here. I've managed to pry off the two fuel lines. Let's just compare the two carburetors. That's the old one on the right. It's obviously not identical, but it looks like it will fit, and they seem to have openings in all the same places anyway. Oh, it looks like the original carb is Chinese as well. And actually the official OEM replacement carb looks just like the knockoff, while it's the original, but looks a little different. But the throttles here are very different. The old one turns counterclockwise and the new one turns clockwise. The connection to the throttle cable is quite a bit different. I guess that doesn't matter as long as the throttle cable will fit. Let's just check that. Looks like that'll fit. The cable just slips into the slot here. Actually, that should be easier to adjust. On the old one, the end of the cable screws directly into this bracket. That makes it really hard to adjust. You have to disconnect the other end and twist the whole cable around. I'll just need another nut. Looks like I got a few in the socket set here. Not sure where they came from. But this one fits great. The throttle cable looks a little tight here. Obviously you'd want the cam up against the idle screw when the throttle's released. So we'll just back off these two nuts here. That looks better. Let's go ahead and install the new carb. The new gasket in the kit is a lot bigger than the original, but it looks like it'll work. Not sure why they'd want to cover up such a wide area with the gasket. I think I'll just reuse the original. So slide on the carburetor. Then the air cleaner. Well, let's connect these fuel lines first. There's a little plate here that meshes with the choke. Now I'll just replace the nuts here. There's the throttle linkage. Seems to work just fine. Time to give it a try. Let's prime the new carb. No more fuel leak. That's good. Okay, ignition on, choke on. Hot first pull and it starts. Now choke off. Okay, that's on idle and it's already engaging the clutch. Try the throttle. Okay, that's off. Let's back off the throttle cable just a little bit more. And try again. That's on idle. That's better, but it's still racing a little, so let's back off the idle screw a bit more. Okay, that seems about right. Let's go ahead and try it in the garden. Okay, easy start, nice steady idle, and it seems to be working fine. So I think I got a pretty good deal on this, even though it needed some work. I'm sure the engine itself is fairly bulletproof. Too bad the peripherals aren't quite so reliable. But it's easy to work on and all the parts are available. Overall, quite a nice little tiller. Thanks for watching.